Hey everyone, let me know how you like this setup. I did my last story time sitting here too and I kind of like it, but let me know what you guys think. So I wasn't originally going to do this story time today. I was going to do a different one, but I thought this one might be a little bit more interesting because it is from my childhood. So a lot of you don't know this, but I used to live in Las Vegas when I was younger. I think I was about 5 or 6, I'm not exactly sure, but it was right before I started kindergarten, so whatever age I was when I started kindergarten. So my family used to live in Las Vegas. We lived in this apartment complex. We lived right across the sidewalk from my grandma, which was actually really cool. But at that time it was only my older brother Jessica and me. We were the only kids, so we kind of had a lot of freedom actually. Like, we were able to go out as long as we stayed inside the apartment complex. Like, we'd go ride our heelys and our skates and stuff in the apartments. We had a lot of friends that also lived there, so we were able to go out and hang out. So I was about 6, that means Jessica was about 8 and David was 10 because we're each 2 years apart. So since I was the youngest, I would stay inside the apartment most of the time, and Jessica and David would go out and hang out with their friends. So there was this time when Jessica went out and she started to explore. She was really bored and she was just walking around the apartment until she saw a cat. There would be a lot of cats in the apartment and they would all go to the same spot, so Jessica got curious and she followed a cat to where it was going. So the cat went like between these bushes and like to this other place. I don't exactly remember where. This cat led Jessica to some lady's apartment and Jessica hung out with the lady for a bit. So she was about 8 and the lady was probably about, I would say 50. I'm not exactly sure. But the lady was really nice. Like, she invited Jessica in, and you know, we were really young. We didn't know that we weren't supposed to go into other people's apartments, but like luckily nothing never happened. So Jessica hung out with the lady for a while and she came home. And the next day Jessica was telling me about this cat that she followed and this lady that she met. So she told David and I about the lady, and so Jessica led us to the lady's house the next day, and she introduced us to her new friend that the cat led her to. So this lady's apartment was actually kind of empty. I still remember how it looked like. She had so many cats and she was kind of old. She had a bunch of tattoos. She had like a really cool hairdo. Like, she was this awesome looking lady. David also became friends with the lady, and once in a while he would go play Monopoly with this lady. So we'd go back to her house a few times. I know we didn't really go like that often, but like we did. I remember about 3 times that we did go, and Jessica went like the other time when she went the first time, if that makes any sense. But Jessica followed this cat to the lady's house. We became her friend. And there was this other time, I think this was the last time we ever went into her house. We went over there to hang out with her because the lady was kind of alone. And so like the way her apartment was set up, it was like there was like these walls, and if you're facing it, it's like the door, and then next to it would be like this wall and this huge window, and her window was open. She had no screen or like glass on it or anything. It was just like completely open. So we came and she was cutting her boyfriend or husband's hair, whatever he was. I think he was like, she was like shaving his head or something. I don't really remember. She couldn't get the door for us, so she was like, oh, you guys come in, come in. So like we all went through her window and we were just talking to her. I don't remember anything that we were talking about, like anything at all. I just remember the story about Jessica following a cat to this lady's house, and she took us over to the lady's house and we would hang out, and she was our friend. And the lady was actually pretty cool. We ended up moving from Vegas. We didn't even live there for that long. It was probably like 6 months. I'm not exactly sure. I just remember that it was extremely hot over there and there was a lot of cockroaches. The cool part about living there is that we lived right across from my grandma, which was actually really cool. My grandma's actually coming to visit in a few days, so if you want to see any videos with her, then let me know. I will do some vlogs, and if I figure out a challenge that my grandma can do that's like not too crazy for her to do, then I'll do that for sure. So I feel like the story time is actually really short, and I do have one more story that can't be a full story time because it actually is really short, of when we did live in Vegas, and this was one of my other memories from living there. We had this one friend. I remember she was older than me. I'm not sure by how much, but I think she was around Jessica or David's age, so probably about 2, 3, or 4 years older than me. She had so many toys. Like, she had so many things to play with. It was crazy. Like, I remember inside her house there was like, you'd walk in and then there was like the kitchen, living room, and right in between there was this wall with the door, and you'd open the door and there would be like this long hall, like super long. We never got to the end. I still don't know what was at the end, but I remember she had so many toys in there. So there was this one day, she brought out one of her toys. It was like this huge frisbee, but it's not like one of the plastic ones. It was like the huge ones that have like, I feel like they have foam like at the end of it, and then then like the rest of it, it's like I'm not exactly sure how to explain it, so I'll find a picture of it online and I'll put it in right here. So she brought one of these out and she didn't want anybody touching it. Like, she didn't want anybody throwing this, and I don't know why she took it outside. She didn't even want to throw it or like play with it or anything. She just had it in her hand. I didn't really understand how important this thing was to her, or like why she didn't let anybody use it, but I bugged her for it. Like, this frisbee thing like caught my attention so much that I bugged her for it so bad. She had a bunch of toys, she never let anybody use them, and so I kept asking her. I was like, can I throw your frisbee? And she was like, no. And I was like, and then we went back and forth, like, can I throw it? And she kept saying no. We went back and forth like over and over about her not letting me throw this frisbee, and so I guess she got tired of me asking, and she finally let me throw her frisbee. And now I understand why she wouldn't let me before, because she handed it to me and said, be very careful and don't throw it too far. And I was like, all right. And I was like pumped up to throw this. So me being 6 years old, not really listening to this girl about her frisbee, I held it and I threw it so far up in the air. Like, I kid you not, it was so far up there, we never got it back. Like, I still have like a video in my head of how this looked. Like, I threw it so far up, it went over, like, high up in the air, over the apartments, over the next apartments, like, oh, like, it just kept going and going and going and going. I remember she got so mad at me. I think she yelled at me and made me cry, but like, I felt so bad for her, because like after she kept saying no and she finally let me use it, I threw it and we never got it back. I don't think she ever talked to me after that. If I could go back, I would probably still bug her for this, but I threw it a lot softer than I did before. But if you're out there and I threw and lost your frisbee, I'm sorry. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to these 2 stories about when I lived in Vegas. I do have a few other memories and like other little stories that I can do. So if you guys want me to do that, then give this video a thumbs up or leave it down below and I'll do that. If you have any video requests or anything, then go ahead and comment it and I'll do those. I realized I don't have a playlist for my story time, so I'm actually going to do that right now. It should be fixed by the time that this video is up. So if it is, I'll link in the description a playlist of all the stories that I've done on my channel, and I have more story times to come. But don't forget to check out the links in the description. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and always remember to stay jazzy.